Being isolated is the best thing for a Christian, but the worst thing for you. Now, what do I mean by this? When I say you, I mean to your flesh and everything that you want in life. I explained this in one of my videos how chasing idealism left me like tormented because I'm stubborn, and it's not always that I wanted to change the world to how I think it should be, but how things should be. Not just in my perspective, but in just how things should be, in terms of what God would want. And because I'm following God, and because I genuinely want to follow God, I'm going to speak on this point further in the video, that even when I try to go astray from God, there's always like this conviction to get back on the path, And there's always this thing that it feels like I'm stuck in the world. Because it's like, I explained this in another part of my videos, where I've become very detached from everything. And what that leaves is not the feeling of numb, but of being neutral. Of not really having excitement towards anything. Because I know where that will lead. I know they'll come with a dip. I know what the outcome will be 9 times out of 10. I know how things are. And, a lot of it has been because I'm stubborn, but also because of what I value in the world. And through that chasing idealism, it left me isolated. And through following God, it kind of leaves me isolated, because it's like, even when I try to hang out with, let's say if I went to a party, it's not that I hated every second of it, but I just felt why am I there? Because it's like, it's kind of like that thing of temptation, of like, oh, I can fall into temptation. But the thing is, I know that my temptation isn't really something that I'm internally craving. It's just something for a moment. And because I have that self-awareness, I'll still fall into temptation sometimes, but it's just like, it leads me back to zero. And I find myself being isolated because it's the only thing left for me, and I'm not saying this. And the thing is that, a lot of people on the internet talk about being isolated and how it's ruining them. And yeah, a lot of times it is. But I'm somebody who I'm kind of in a not different category, not saying I'm so different from others, but I'm already somebody who I'm already kind of like an introvert. I'm already antisocial. So even if I had social gatherings and stuff like that, 9 times out of 10 I would still be isolated, just because of how I am. But I'm not saying this to express pain or express anything like that, because even the most isolated person on the earth who's extremely antisocial like me, we still need connection. Like, it's a human trait. So it's like, there's no fighting your biology. But me being isolated has left me to a point where it almost feels like I'm stuck. Where I feel that no matter what I do, no matter what I think about, I always let myself go back to being neutral and being indifferent to everything in the world. And I found myself wanting to follow God, and it leads me to the point where, because nobody can be 100% happy all the time, nor 100% sad, it leads me at a point where I'm just neutral, and it's just kind of like imploding. And I've talked about this in many other videos, but I think a lot of Christians right now are very isolated, by choice. A lot of them by circumstances, Like, I know a lot of people who've been suffering in the world, who don't have friends or through none of that. They got encountered by the Lord through videos or through whatever. whatever God did for them, and they find themselves wanting to be a part of the world, but even when they try to be a part of the world, it's not sustaining, or it's not fulfilling, or it's not something where it brings them any everlasting joy. And so it leads them to become isolated and just become like how I call floating in the world. And I know that 90% of the time, my desires are flesh. 10% of them is just a human need, like human, like biological need. You know, the thing of passing on our genes and stuff like that. You know, that science shit. But I find myself just being so indifferent to the world. And the thing is, I don't know if it's a good or bad thing. It has its pros and cons that I'll speak about in another video. But normal things do not excite me. And this has led me to not only be isolated, this has led me to only focusing on God, which is the good thing. But it leaves me so alone from people. And I'm one of the people that I handle being alone better. First off, because I was forced to be alone when I was younger. I had nobody. But then as I got older, I've kind of had like this self-sufficient personality. And I've kind of grown and matured so much that I don't let myself suffer. I don't let myself become sad because I know what the outcome of that will be. And so I just force myself to always thug it out, any situation I'm in. And then through spiritual maturity, I've seen what my actions or what my emotions will lead me to. And so I stop myself from sabotaging any progress I've made or anything really that will lead me astray. And so it's like the best way I can put it is that I'm stuck in the world. And even me saying this, I don't let myself think this all 24/7 because I know where this will lead me. It will lead me to feeling sad about my situation when really I'm blessed, and the sense of salvation, and then the bless of I have a house, or I don't have a house, but I live in an apartment. I have people that care about me. I have this, I have that, but I'm stuck in the world. You get what I mean? And this is good because we're taught in the Bible to deny ourselves. And the thing is, I don't ever want to push a message that doesn't lead you to Christ. Am I saying I'm perfect? No. Am I saying that my opinions won't change when I'm older? No. But it's like I've become content with the world without being content. If like I don't chase anything, I'm not chasing anything. I'm just being myself, and I'm doing what I need to do. And if doing what I need to do makes me not happy 24/7, then kind of like so be it. And I think me following the Lord it's gotten me to a place where I'm just at peace and just accepting of how the world is. And like, no matter how much my flesh or sometimes my internal desires try to lead me into another path, I always get reminded of the Lord, and it's like I get back on the path. And I don't even vocalize my pain or vocalize anything internally, or even with my voice, because I know where that will lead me. And so it just leads me to a point where I'm just stuck, or again, I said in another video where I just feel neutral. And I think, isolation is the best thing for a Christian, because everywhere we turn, it's something demonic. Everywhere we turn, it's something to lead us astray. But there is kind of a lone wolf, a loneliness to it, and whether somebody feels this loneliness, or whether you're someone like me, where just, you don't even pay no mind to it, you just thug it out, it's still lonely, this path. So yeah. And so I just wanted to put this out there, that if you're a Christian and you're kind of like, alone in the world, that, there's Christians out there fighting the fight as well. And that there's Christians here that are going through the same things you're going through. And yeah, I do think that loneliness is just something that comes with being a Christian. And not that, you can't have Christian friends and go hang out, play basketball. I'm not saying this is like, oh, you have to be lonely as a Christian. No, I'm just saying that for some people with certain circumstances, and for some Christians, because we have to turn from the world, so there's going to be some people that you may not have to hang out with, or some things that you have to stop doing. But I'm just saying that I don't think there is a solution for this loneliness. The only solution is obviously to go to Christ and pray for a better relationship, and just, through that. But in terms of some things, there is no solution. So I think loneliness, the loneliness, right, is the best thing for Christians, but the worst thing for you, in terms of you being your flesh and you being of, that perfect thing, the perfect thing in your mind of where everything's set in place. I think that doesn't exist. I think you can control your outcomes to an extent, or some systems are placed in your favor, but a lot of it, you just have to accept that you won't have. But yeah, this has been Los, and I'll catch you in the next one.